Our Father, Messiah, and the Holy Spirit be with us, brothers and sisters. I pray that you are all well. We will be continuing with John chapter 11. Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Messiah with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent to him, saying, Messiah, behold, he whom you love is sick. When the Messiah heard that, he said, This sickness is not to death, but for the glory of our Father in heaven, that the Son of our Father in heaven might be glorified thereby. Now the Messiah loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that says he to his disciples, Let us go into Judea again. His disciples say to him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone you, and go you there again? The Messiah answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbles not because he sees the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbles because there is no light in him. These things said he, and after that he says to them, Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Messiah, is he asleep? He will do well. Howbeit the Messiah spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest in sleep. Then said the Messiah to them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go to him. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, to his fellow disciples, Let us also go, that we may die with him. Then when the Messiah came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was near to Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off, and many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them. Concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that the Messiah was coming, went and met him. But Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha to the Messiah, Messiah, if you had been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever you will ask of our Father in heaven will give it you. The Messiah says to her, Your brother will rise again. Martha says to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. And the Messiah said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet will he live. And whosoever lives and believes in me will never die. Believe you this? She says to him, Yeah, Messiah, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of our Father in heaven, which should come into the world. And when she had so said, she went She went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, The Master is come and calls for you. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came to him. Now the Messiah was not yet come into the town, but was in that place where Martha met him. The Jews then which were with her in the house, and comforted her, when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She goes to the grave to weep there. Then, when Mary was come where the Messiah was, and saw him, and fell down at his feet, saying to him, Messiah, if you had been here, my brother had not died. When the Messiah therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, The Messiah. Messiah, come and see. And the Messiah wept. Then said the Jews, Behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? The Messiah therefore, again groaning in himself, comes to the grave. It was a grave, and a stone lay on it. The Messiah said, Take you away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, says to him, Messiah, by this time he stinks, for he has been dead 4 days. The Messiah says to her, Said I not to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of our Father in heaven? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and the Messiah lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me, and I knew that you hear me always. And I knew that you hear me always. Because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that you have sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. The Messiah says to them, Loose him and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which the Messiah did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things the Messiah had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, What do we? For this man does many miracles. If we let him this alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest, that same year said to them, You know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that the Messiah should die for their nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of our Father in heaven that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth they took counsel together for to put him to death. The Messiah therefore walked no more openly among the Jews, and went there to a country near the wilderness, and to a city called Ephraim, and there continued with his disciples. And the Jews' Passover was near at hand, and many went out of the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then sought they for the Messiah, and spake among themselves as they stood in the temple, "What think you, that he will not come to the feast?" Now both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a commandment that if any man knew where he was, he should show it, that they might take him. Chapter 12. Then the Messiah, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of the Messiah, and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Then says one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him, "Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor?" This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief, and had the bag, and bare what was put therein. Then said the Messiah, "Let her alone. Against the day of my burying has she kept this. For the poor always you have with you, but me you have not always." Much people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there, and they came not for the Messiah's sake only, but that they might see Lazarus also, whom he had raised from the dead. But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death, because that by reason of him many of the Jews went away and believed on the Messiah. On the next day, much people that were come to the feast, when they heard that that the Messiah was coming to Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees and went forth to meet him, and cried, "Hosanna! Blessed is the King of Israel that comes in the name of our Father in heaven." And the Messiah, when he had found a young ass, sat thereon, as it is written, "Fear not, daughter of Sion. Behold, your king comes, sitting on an ass's colt." These things understood not his disciples at the first. But when the Messiah was glorified, then remembered they that these things were written of him, and that they had done these things to him. The people therefore that was with him, when he called Lazarus out of his grave, and raised him from the dead, bear record. For this cause the people also met him, for that they heard that he had done this miracle. The Pharisees therefore said among themselves, "Perceive you how you prevail nothing? Behold, the world is gone after him." And there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast. The same came therefore to Philip, which was at Bethsaida of Galilee, and desired him, saying, "Sir, we should see the Messiah." Philip comes and tells Andrew, and again Andrew and Philip tell the Messiah. And the Messiah answered them, saying, "The hour is come, that the Son of Man should be glorified. Verily, verily, I say to you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abides alone. But if it die, it brings forth much fruit. He that loves his life will lose it, and he that hates his life in this world will keep it to life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there will also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. This is my soul troubled. Now is my soul troubled. And what will I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I to this hour. Father, glorify your name." Then came before a voice from heaven, saying, I have both glorified it, and will glorify it again. The people therefore that stood by and heard it said that it thundered. Others said an angel spake to him. The Messiah answered and said, This voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is the judgment of the world. Now will the prince of this world be cast out. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men to me. This he said, signifying what death he should die. The people answered him, We have heard out of the law that the Messiah abides forever. And how say you, the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is the Son of Man? Then the Messiah said to them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness come on you. For he that walks in darkness knows not whither he goes. While ye have light, believe in the light, that you may be the children of light. These things spake the Messiah, and departed and did hide himself from them. But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. That the saying of Esaias the prophet might be fulfilled which he spake, The Messiah, who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of the Messiah been revealed? Therefore they could not believe, because that Esaias said again, He has blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things said Esaias, when he saw his glory, and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him. But because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him, unless they should be put out of the synagogue. For they loved the praise of men more than the praise of our Father in heaven. The Messiah cried and said, He that believes on me believes not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that sees me sees him that sent me. I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believes on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that rejects me and receives not my words has one that judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same will judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said to me, so I speak. Chapter 13. Now before the feast of the Passover, when the Messiah knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world to the Father, having loved his own, which were in the world, he loved them to the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, the Messiah, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from our Father in heaven and went to our Father in heaven, he rises from supper, and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that he pours water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Then comes he to Simon Peter, and Peter says to him, Messiah, do you wash my feet? The Messiah answered and said to him, What I do you know not now, but you will know hereafter. Peter says to him, You will never wash my feet. The Messiah answered him, If I wash you not, you have no part with me. Simon Peter says to him, Messiah, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. The Messiah says to him, He that is washed needs no save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and you are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, "You are not all clean." So, after he had washed their feet, and had taken his garments, and was set down again, he said to them, "Know you what I have done to you? You call me Master and Messiah, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Messiah and Master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say to you, the servant is not greater than his master, neither he that is sent greater than he that has sent him. If you know these things, happy are you if you do them. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. Now I tell you before it come, that when it is come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Verily, verily, I say to you, he that perceives whomsoever I send receives me, and he that receives me receives him that sent me. When the Messiah had thus said, he was troubled in spirit, and testified, and said, Verily, verily, I say to you, that one of you will betray me. Then the disciples looked one on another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on the Messiah's bosom one of his disciples whom the Messiah loved. Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. He then, lying on the Messiah's breast, says to him, Messiah, who is it? The Messiah answered, He it is, to whom I will give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then said the Messiah to him, That you do quickly. Now no man at the table knew what intent he spake this to him. For some of them thought, because Judas had the bag, that the Messiah had said to him, Buy those things that we have need of against the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night. Therefore, when he was gone out, the Messiah said, Now is the Son of Man glorified, and our Father in heaven is glorified in him. If the Messiah be glorified in him, if our Father in heaven be glorified in him, our Father in heaven will also glorify him in himself, and will straightway glorify him. Little children, yet a little while I am with you, yet will seek me. You will seek You will seek me, and as I said to the Jews, Whither I go, you cannot come. So now I say to you, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, as I have loved you, that you also love one another. But this will all men know that you are my disciples, if you have loved one to another. Simon Peter said to him, Messiah, where go you? And the Messiah answered him, Whither I go, you cannot follow me now, but you will follow me afterwards. Peter said to him, Messiah, why cannot I follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake. And the Messiah answered him, Will you lay down your life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say to you, the cock will not crow till you have denied me thrice. Chapter 14. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in our Father in heaven, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may also be. And whither I go, you know the way. And whither I go, you know, and the way you know. Thomas says to him, Master, Messiah, we know not whither you go, and how can we know the way? The Messiah says to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. And from henceforth you know him and have seen him. Philip says to him, Messiah, show us the Father, and it suffices us. The Messiah says to him, Have I been so long with you, and yet have you not known me, Philip? He that has seen me has seen the Father. And how say you then, Show us the Father? Believe you not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak to you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwells in me, he does the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. Verily, verily, I say to you, he that believes on me, the works that I do will he do also, and greater works than these will he do, because I go to my Father. And whosoever you will ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you will ask anything in my name, I will do it. If you love me, keep my commandments. And I will pray the Father, and he will give you another Comforter, that he may abide with you forever. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because he sees him not, neither knows him. But you know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world sees me no more. But you see me. Because I live, you will live also. At that day you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. He that has my commandments and keeps them, he it is that loves me. And he that loves me will be loved by my Father. And I will love him, and will manifest myself to him. Judas says to him, not Iscariot, Messiah, how is it that you will manifest yourself to us and not to the world? The Messiah answered and said to him, If a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our abode with him. He that loves me not keeps not my sayings, and the word which you hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. These things have I spoken to you, being yet present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, give I to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You have heard how I said to you, I go away and come again to you. If you love me, you would rejoice, because I said, I go to the Father, for my Father is greater than I. And now I have told you before it come to pass, that when it is come to pass, you might believe. Hereafter I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world comes and has nothing in me, but that the world may know that I love the Father. And as the Father gave me commandment, even so I do. Arise, let us go hence. chapter 15. Excuse me. I apologize, brothers and sisters, for my coughing. I don't know what I have right now. Chapter 15, and it's Milo. Milo, say hi. You want to lay down? What do you want to do? Okay, lay down. Lay down. You lick my ear. Lay down. Lay down, bud. Lay down. Good boy. Chapter 15. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine, no more can you except you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abides in me, and I in him, the same brings forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them, and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you will ask what you will do. You will ask what you will, and it will be done to you. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit. So will you be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love. Continue you in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken to you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends. Oh, you are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servants know not what his master does. But I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known to you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. That whatsoever you will ask of the Father in my name, he will give it to you. These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you. The servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they say to you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they had not had sin. But now They have no cloak for their sin. He that hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this comes to pass, that the word might be fulfilled, that is written in their law. They hated me without a cause. And when the Comforter is come, whom I will send to you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth which proceeds from the Father, he will testify of me. You also bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning. Shorts. It's hot. Anyways, chapter 16. These things have I spoken to you, that you should not be offended. They will put you out of the synagogues. Yeah, the time comes that whosoever kills you will think that he does our Father's service. And these things will they do to you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time will come, you may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not to you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asks me where I go. Where goes you? Where do you go? But because I have said these things to you, sorrow has filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come to you. But if I depart, I will send him to you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin, and of righteousness, and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and you see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. I have yet many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he will not speak of himself, but whatsoever he will hear, that will he speak. And he will show you things to come. He will glorify me, for he will receive of mine, and will show it to you. All things that the Father has are mine. Therefore said I, that he will take of mine, and will show it to you. A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me, because I go to the Father. Then said some of his disciples among themselves, What is this that he says to us? A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me, and because I go to the Father? They said therefore, What is this that he says a little while? We cannot tell what he says. Now the Messiah knew that they were desirous to ask him, and said to them, Do you inquire among yourselves of that I said, A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me? Verily, verily, I say to you, that you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice, and you will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And you know, therefore, and you now therefore have sorrow. But I will see you again, and your heart will rejoice. Your joy no man takes from you. And in that day you will ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say to you, whatsoever you will ask the Father in my name, he will give it you. Hitherto have you asked no thing in my name. Hereto you have asked nothing in my name. Asking you will receive, that your joy may be full. These things have I spoken to you in Proverbs, but the time comes when I will no more speak to you in Proverbs, but I will show you plainly of the Father. At that day you will ask in my name, and I say not to you that I will pray the Father for you. For the Father himself loves you, because you have loved me, and have believed that I came from out from our Father